Probate, which means court fees, attorney fees, assessment fees, can get very expensive. But did you know that there's something else that could cost even more, that could take a bigger bite of your estate? Is it the 40% federal estate tax rate? Nope, because the exemption is so high, $15 million, that most families can really ignore it. Is it the capital gains tax on your house that has appreciated tremendously for decades? Nope, if you're smart about it, you could get that down to zero capital gains tax. Is it the tax on your IRA when you finally are forced to make withdrawals? That is a steep tax, but this threat is even worse. So what is it? What could be worse than all of the above? This threat is staring right in your face and you don't even think about it. It's our own family, our kids and our spouse. Yes, I will show you 6 ways that they can unintentionally drain your estate. All that hard work that you spend your whole life building could be gone by the next generation. Let's start with the kids. Risk number 1, the lottery winner's curse. The data shows that many lottery winners lose their winnings in a few short years.
Roughly 70% of people who win the lottery lose it all in just a couple of years.
Some are even worse off than before they won the lottery. Your children are also susceptible to this lottery winner's curse when they inherit your estate in one lump sum. I'm not a psychologist, but I think the reason behind the lottery winner's curse is twofold. One is that they didn't earn it. Not like us. We slogged. We exchanged precious time, hours, blood, and sweat for every single dollar of our estate. Second reason is that they simply lack the experience to manage such a large sum of money overnight. Unlike us, who've been burned, who've made money mistakes, they just haven't learn the lessons yet. As a result, the sudden windfall causes a change in behavior overnight. They start buying things they never bought before, flashy race cars, exotic vacations. They start having lots more friends and family members coming to them, and they start giving handouts and loaning money to these friends and family that never repay them. The risk? They could become like those lottery winners. Broke, regretful, and wondering where it all went. You're trying to protect your legacy, but it's not just the money. You're trying to protect your children from themselves too. Risk number 2, your child's creditors and lawsuits. Is your child in a high-risk occupation like a doctor or a lawyer? I was neither of those 2 occupations and I still got sued. I used to have a business converting VHS tapes and 8mm film reels into DVD, and one of the shipments just never got to the customer and I got sued because those film reels are not replaceable. And the customer made a really good case of his pain and suffering, not being able to see his home movies of his parents who have long passed away. So I got sued. Guys, we live in America. Lawsuits are a dime a dozen. You don't want your hard-earned estate to end up in the hands of your child's creditors and lawsuit settlements. Risk number 3, your child's potential divorce. I don't want to wish it on anybody, but it does happen. Inheritance is normally not a marital property. But if it gets commingled, which is very easy to do by the way, for example, your child could cover the mortgage payment for 1 month when the family is short, or during their honeymoon, there goes the pillow talk. Oh, I love you, everything I own is yours. Boom, the inheritance is now marital property. And in the event of a divorce, half your child's inheritance will walk out of the door with that ex-spouse. Even if your child is able to keep his inheritance separate, in the event of a divorce, The judge can see his entire assets, which includes inheritance, and deem him much wealthier than his ex-spouse. You know what that means? Higher alimony payments, higher child custody payments. Risk number 4. Another common way that an inheritance disappears is through bad investments or business ventures that go sideways. Sometimes the heir, your child, feels pressure to make the money grow. So they dive into business decisions that they know nothing about and end up with high-risk investments, poor real estate purchases, or stock tips that is supposed to make them rich quickly but don't pan out. That's the kids. Your spouse could also unintentionally drain your inheritance. Risk number 5. Your loved ones did not end up with the inheritance that you worked so hard to build. So Tom has a beautiful family, adorable wife and kids. Tom also has a young adult child from a previous relationship. And he worries that when he dies and all his estates goes to his wife, because he knows how much his wife loves their shared children, his wife may choose to pass everything to their children and leave nothing for Tom's adult child. Tom did not work his whole life to build up his assets to leave nothing for his first son. So he worries about that. Or Tom's spouse could remarry and redirect Tom's assets to the new family. Risk number 6. The surviving spouse could drain all the assets before the children sees a penny of their inheritance. You don't have to be a kid to spend your money irresponsibly. Some widows have a midlife crisis and start buying flashy race cars or going to lavish trips with new girlfriends or new boyfriends. Even if the surviving spouse is frugal by nature, when she gets older, she could be a victim of scams, pushy relatives, or manipulative caregivers. The estate is gone, nothing left for the children. These 6 risks are real. They're the reasons why the data shows that 70% of inheritance is gone by the 2nd generation, and there's almost nothing left by the 3rd generation. Your life's estate and legacy don't have to end that way. Strategic families plan for a different pattern. Not only are they able to preserve the inheritance, despite their children and surviving spouses being humans like the other families, but they're able to grow the inheritance generation after generation. I'll do a separate deep dive video on the different strategies that families use to get that kind of protection and growth. For right now, I'm just going to quickly list a summary of those strategies, okay? First is to set up a living trust, because it allows you a lot more flexibility. Whereas a will or beneficiary designation, that's outright distribution. Secondly, is to stagger the distribution to your children. For example, a third at age 30 and the rest at age 40. And the next one is to have rules for the things that the distributions could pay for. Spendthrift clause. Make sure that you have it in your living trust because it gives a trustee more power to enforce the trust rules and prevent money from being squandered away. Next is prenups or postnups. I visited my niece last week. She just had a baby, and she said that it's quite accepted now for young people to have a prenup before they get married. If your child says that his partner has a problem with it, you can be the bad guy and say that that's your requirement for getting an inheritance. For families who feel that your children will never get to a point where they will be responsible with money, they could hire a professional trustee to manage the inheritance. But you know what? All that counts for beans if you don't also educate your children. Start early. I did not divulge my estate to my children when they were young, but I definitely started introducing them to money habits with the little pocket money they got. I also shared stories of people we know who got into trouble because they didn't manage their money properly, losing their cars or getting into bankruptcy. And when they were young adults, I made appointments for them to meet with my financial planner to answer their questions about whether they should set up a Roth IRA or just a regular 401k at work, what their spending habits are and what their goals are. Because at the end of the day, it's not how strict your trust rules are in your estate plan documents. It's not how well the professional trustee enforces those trust rules. It's not even the size of their inheritance. At the end of the day, it's the wisdom, the lessons, and the experience that you've shared with your children that will help them manage their money well.